We have some crazy breaking news right now. Trump's newest victims are a group of Americans that we actually need to survive in this country. The American truck driver. The sad thing is 90% of these truck drivers voted for Trump in the 2024 election. And it doesn't stop there. The whole shipping industry is under attack by Trump. They are collapsing right now, guys, and no one is talking about it. Since April 1st, imports from China have dropped 36%. Ports like Los Angeles are reporting a 35% plunge in cargo. At least 80 cargo ships have gone, canceled, diverted, or are empty. Inside the United States, freight volumes have crashed 14.9% compared to last year. Thousands of truck drivers are now losing loads and losing jobs. Volvo just announced layoffs. 800 American workers are being cut. Independent truckers, the people we keep America running with, are barely surviving. Here's the hardest part. The truck drivers were some of Donald Trump's strongest supporters. 90%, guys, 90% of them voted for Trump. And look how he's treating them. This is insane. I don't understand. This isn't about politics anymore. This is about an American economic collapse happening right before our eyes. And who's paying the price? Truckers, dock workers, small businesses, all of our families. If you want the truth, follow me on Instagram and Substack. The real news every day, all truth, no BS. This is real. This is legit.
Hey, Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. And Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta. And as that guy just stated, we're watching a complete economic collapse. These tariffs are having a much larger impact than people are actually seeing. And you look down here in the comment for it, or synopsis. It says whole shipping industry is collapsing. Imports dropped down 35%. At least 80 cargo ships have gone, canceled, or diverted empty. Truck drivers losing loads in their jobs. And this is really a supply chain collapse. And we're watching it in real time. And this could lead to famine and pestilence and just great misery all around. So we've got that video. And then I've also got this one. This is from GMS Austere Man. And let's go ahead and check it out.
We know that the Port of Los Angeles doesn't have as many container ships coming in. And we already are seeing that truck drivers do not have work. And when we talk about the tariffs and how this is going to impact the future for us, you need to be prepared. When Walmart says that they want to buy something for July 5th or July 4th, they have to start in January. Let's say that they're tracking and they know they need 100,000 bag chairs that they want to sell during the July 4th summer season. So they put in an order. That order, they have to produce that product and label it however Walmart wants it labeled. Then it has to be shipped. Then it has to be taken from the Port of Los Angeles and delivered across the country to all different Walmarts across the country in time for marketing and displays in the stores. They started those orders in January, and they would be delivered sometime probably mid-May, because it takes about 30 days for the shipping containers to get to the United States. And sometimes they're faster, but I'm just using broad numbers here. So when we put these tariffs. Our administration has said we're putting tariffs on it, and China said we're not shipping to you. They also are not taking any of our exports. They're not going to allow United States exports to go to China, especially beef. For Nebraska, it's going to be devastating. Farmers are they're already suffering. Soybean, corn. It's going to be devastating.
Yeah, and this is going to lead to higher prices all around and a ton of suffering for these people here in Babylon. And it's going to make it hard for the followers of Yahweh Shai as well. But as he said, my servants shall eat. And all of this really turns around into a good, because ultimately the kingdom gets set up. Esau's trying to bring down his own economy right now and crash his whole system so that he could build a new system in which he has complete and total control. And they're doing it through manipulation of the supply chain and the failure of this economy. And then there's also disease outbreaks that are currently happening. It says, this is from NBC News. It says a deadly E. coli outbreak hit 15 states, but the FDA chose not to publicize it. So there's a lot of little plagues that are adding up into the great suffering that is coming to Babylon the Great. Just to grab another one, because they keep speaking of this and it's hurting the food supply as well. But it said from the AI overview, the BF outbreaks, for the birds, this is particularly the H5N1 strain, are significantly impacting the food supply, leading to price increases and potential shortages, especially for eggs and poultry. The culling of infected birds to control the spread of the virus also contributes to reduced supply. While the risk of foodborne transmission is low with proper cooking, the overall impact on the food system is substantial. And so we're watching our food dry up. We're watching it shrink and shrink. It's going to make the prices go up and up. And then with the economy crashing, we're also watching a lot of unemployment. We're watching that rise as well. And then wages aren't matching the economic demand as well. So there's going to be suffering. Food is going to be scarce. But this is 2 Esdras 6 and verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. So you sow seed into the land and it grows, and these places that you thought you had food it's not going to be food there. There's only a few days supply that these grocery stores have, and if the truck drivers are suffering and having a hard time or can't even bring in supplies, these storehouses are going to be empty. These stores, the grocery stores that we go to, are going to eventually have empty shelves. And I even just did an article on that, how Target and Walmart and these different CEOs were telling Trump that these tariffs are about to really be seen. The effects of it are about to be really be seen. And that'll equal empty shelves, which will equal famine and pestilence, because not being able to eat brings disease in itself, and not being able to get medical supplies is another suffering. And China gives us most of everything, but they do a lot of medical supplies. It says the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And that's how people get their sustenance nowadays. They're not raising chickens and getting the eggs and growing farms. They're just going to the store. And that's what we've come up into, because Esau wants everybody to depend on him. Esau being Speaking of the elite, because that's who's making all these plans, but the Edomites are the so-called white people, including the small hatters. They're trying to extend their time of rulership, and they've got this great plan to bring everything down, and then they're gonna rise from the ashes like the phoenix in this new system that they have planned, in which they'll keep Jacob a slave forever. Jacob being the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But the Lord is bringing them down. Even though the elite think they're doing this, it's really all through the Lord. He put these plans into their mind. But with these, going back to the original video and the guy talking about the truckers, that'll cause these storehouses to suddenly be found empty. I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and starting at verse 1. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them." When the storehouses become empty, when the sown places appear unsown, when there's great famine and misery. You're supposed to come back to the Lord before all these things happen. It says, "While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. The day when the keepers of the house, when the economists shall tremble, because through their analysis they've seen that things are going downhill, and that the future ain't bright. And the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few." These are the jobs. And we're already seeing rising unemployment. And it says, "And those that look out of the windows be darkened." So, dark future. Not a bright future, but a dark future. And that's what the future holds for Babylon the Great. America. It's not a bright future. This place is going to suddenly not appear. Just like the storehouses and the shelves are suddenly not going to appear. Eventually America is not going to be there, because it's going to be nuked and nobody will dwell here again. "And the doors shall be shut in the street when the sound of the grinding is low." So all these businesses are going to go out of business and people aren't going to be working. So the doors will be shut. "And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." And we already know that's going on, because music's not the greatest, or modern music is not the greatest. But point being, there's a supply chain crisis. These truckers are filling it, and eventually the consumer, us, is going to feel it. We're already seeing the rising prices, and we're seeing the rising pestilence as well, which is affecting the food supply. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.